Hello there and a warm welcome to all of you to News Tonight here on Rajya Sabha TV. As you're getting ready to play Holi with your loved ones, let's quickly take you through what's making news this evening. The headlines. Government serves legal notice to BBC after the channel goes ahead with telecast of its Delhi gang rape documentary in the UK and other countries. Protests against the convict statement around the country. Divisions deepen in the Aam Aadmi Party as senior leader Mayank Gandhi points at Kejriwal's role in the ouster of Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan. Delhi High Court upholds conviction of former Haryana Chief Minister Om Prakash Chautala and his son in the 1999 JVT teachers recruitment scam. A trial court had sent them to jail for 10 years. US Secretary of State John Kerry looks to ease concerns in Saudi Arabia on an emerging US nuclear deal with Iran. US-Iran talks on the deal have ended for now. And India look to keep up its unbeaten run as it clashes with the West Indies in Perth tomorrow. Our top story, repercussions to the airing of the controversial documentary on the December 16th gang rape case, India's daughter. An upset and angry government today served legal notice to the BBC after the channel ignored its advice and broadcast the controversial documentary on the Delhi gang rape case late last night. It also asked social networking site YouTube to remove the documentary, terming it very sensitive. Activists now blame the telecast in the UK and other countries on acute lack of preparation on India's part.
हाँ, वैसे हम लोगों ने कहा था कि रिलीज नहीं की जानी चाहिए, लेकिन बीबीसी ने लंदन से उसे लेकिन हमें आगे की जो कार्रवाई करनी चाहिए वो हम लोग हमारा गृह मंत्रालय करेगा.
Strong words from the Home Minister after the BBC went ahead and telecast India's daughter in the UK and other countries on Wednesday night. Keeping his promise that the strongest possible action would be taken, the government has issued legal notice to the BBC and also asked YouTube to pull down the clip.
As far as the instant case is concerned, there was a proper court order restraining any communication of the views and the documentary related facts on social media or any web portal. Therefore, this order was complied purely in consequence of the court order by the IT Ministry, which has no role by itself except to execute a lawful court order.
Protest had broken out in many parts of India soon after reports came out on a gang rape convict actually justifying the rape and blaming it on the victim. Protesters demanded that his execution be brought forward. A debate has also raised on whether the film should be banned in India or whether the truth needs to be faced instead of being buried. The victim's family has said it goes with the Indian government on the ban, though it had no objection either way.
भारत सरकार ने इस पे रोक लगाई है तो कुछ सोच समझ के लगाई है और मैं अपने देश से बड़ा नहीं हूँ. उस पे रोक लगा रहे हैं तो उनके साथ में हूँ, समर्थन है मेरा. लेकिन हमारा पर्सनल अगर देखा जाए तो इससे हमें कोई मायने नहीं रखता, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता दिखाया जाए ना दिखाया जाए.
Post telecast, lawyers say the government should have been better prepared in its push to have the film banned outright.
ब्रिटेन जो है वो एक इंडिपेंडेंट सोवरेन कंट्री है. इंडिया का कानून वहां लगता नहीं है और वो अपने उन पे पूरे अधिकार थे बीबीसी के कि वो अपने देश में चला दे. ये इस देश की भारत सरकार की इनएफिशिएंसी थी, अनप्रिपरेटेडनेस थी कि उन्होंने इसको ब्लॉक क्यों नहीं किया.
The BBC on its part has justified the making of the film, saying it was made responsibly with the full support of the victim's family. In India, on the contrary, a probe is underway on where rules on permissions were broken. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, as Arvind Kejriwal began his 10-day treatment in Bengaluru today, his Aam Aadmi Party struggled with a deepening crisis. Questions are being raised over the decision to remove founder members Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan from the PAC yesterday. In fact, AAP leader Mayank Gandhi's blog today objected to the way the decision was taken. But despite all this, Yogendra Yadav claims the party shouldn't be written off so soon.
Already battling infights over Arvind Kejriwal's functioning, fissures in the AAP deepened further today. Senior leader Mayank Gandhi raised objections against the manner in which founder members Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Bhushan were voted out of the party's Political Affairs Committee. He explained in his blog why he abstained from voting yesterday during the National Executive meeting. According to the blog, Yogendra Yadav has suggested two options yesterday to the party leaders. He proposed reconstruction of the panel from which he and Prashant Bhushan agreed to stay away. But Manish Sisodia moved a resolution to drop both of them.
The blog was directed towards the volunteer. I really do not think that I would like to use the media to take this party things outside. I have talked to the volunteers through a blog, and I think you should read whatever you want to read into that.
The blog has prompted AAP into a damage control mode. Even Yogendra Yadav defended the party.
कुछ मुद्दों पर लोगों की अलग अलग राय हो सकती है, वो है, और बाकी सब जो है सच जो भी होता है वो आगे पीछे सामने आता है, आ जाएगा।
मैंने मयंक गांधी जी का ब्लॉग पढ़ा है, लेकिन मैं उस पे कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता। बस मैं एक ही बात कह सकता हूं कि अंततः सच सामने आ जाता है। ये वक्त नहीं है आम आदमी पार्टी में अपनी आशा छोड़ देने का, और उन्हें वायदा करना चाहता हूं कि जिन बड़े सिद्धांतों के लिए हम इस पार्टी में आए हैं, इन सब सिद्धांतों के लिए हम तमाम लोग मिलकर लड़ते रहेंगे, अंदर भी बाहर भी।
Meanwhile, Arvind Kejriwal is in Bengaluru for a 10-day naturopathy treatment. He had skipped the crucial meeting yesterday. Doctors said that this is the first time Kejriwal was visiting for cough treatment.
Last time when he came, he did not have any chronic cough problem. He had come for his diabetes. But this time, since he's coming with this new problem, we have to examine him completely, and then whatever investigations has to be done, even that also has to be done. Only then I can come to a conclusion what actually he is suffering from.
Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia will take care of the day-to-day affairs of Delhi government. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Delhi High Court has upheld the 10-year jail term awarded to former Haryana Chief Minister Om Prakash Chautala and his son Ajay and 3 others on charges of corruption in a teacher's recruitment scam. The verdict comes as a huge blow to Chautala, who had challenged his conviction and sentence, seeking suspension of a jail term on the ground that he was unwell.
The father-son duo of Om Prakash Chautala and Ajay Chautala has been awarded 10-year prison terms in the teachers' recruitment scam. The two are accused of illegally recruiting 3,206 junior teachers in the year 2000. 8 others have also been sent to jail for a decade. 55 others are also convicted in the case.
Our main plea was that it is basically a civil dispute, and Mr. Om Prakash Chautala and his son Ajay Chautala are not at all involved in any criminal act. But unfortunately, the Honorable High Court has not accepted this ground and has upheld the judgment of the lower court, and the sentence is also maintained for 10 years.
In his verdict, Justice Siddharth Mridul said the accused vilified the process of recruiting teachers and marred the exercise by corruption. The judge also said that the convicts challenged the ethical standards of other public servants and pressurized others to do their bidding.
अपील सभी मुजरिम की डिसमिस कर दी है। केवल क्वांटम ऑफ सेंटेंस पे कुछ मुजरिम को रिहाई दिया हाई कोर्ट ने। तो इस फैसले को हम देखने के बाद हम इसकी सर्वोच्च न्यायालय में अपील दायर करेंगे।
The High Court disposed of all the bail applications pending before it and directed all accused to surrender. The INLD chief, his MLA son and 53 others including 2 IAS officers were convicted on 16th of January by a trial court. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated 2 600 megawatts units of Singaji thermal power plant in Madhya Pradesh today, dedicating both of them to the nation. Speaking on the occasion, the PM stressed on the need for generating more power and energy and said that the centre was committed to working on all sources of power generation. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Union Power Minister Piyush Goyal were also present during that inauguration. The project is expected to give impetus to the state government's Atal Jyoti Abhiyan, which aims at providing 24/7 power supply across the state. The Prime Minister also laid the foundation for a 1,320 megawatt second phase unit worth 6,500 crore rupees.
हमारी कोशिश है कि हिंदुस्तान में जितनी बिजली की कमी है उसको बहुत तेज गति से पूर्ण किया जाए। मध्य प्रदेश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनी थी। उस समय मध्य प्रदेश में जितनी बिजली उत्पादन होती थी, करीब उतनी बिजली सिर्फ ये सिंगाजी से मिलने वाली है। सिंगाजी से
Minister of State for Finance Jayant Sinha welcomed the RBI's decision to cut repo rate. He said that RBI's decision will help implement a growth-oriented union budget. The minister said the benefits of the RBI move will be visible soon when the interest rates come down further. He also came out in defense of the union budget today, saying it has kept interests of poor, farmers and youth in mind.
आरबीआई ने जनवरी में किया, अभी फिर कर दिया उन्होंने, और शायद और भी करेंगे। जैसे जैसे करेंगे बैंक अपने आप रेट कट्स करेंगे। इकोनॉमी में सब चीज़ लैग से होती है, ओवरनाइट लोग नहीं करते हैं। अगर आप लोगों का बयान पढ़े, बैंकों का बयान पढ़े, बैंकों में कई लोगों ने कहा है कि वो कंसिडर कर रहे हैं और होगा।
Time for a break, but still ahead, 13 prosecution witnesses are cross-examined in the Uber rape case. Details ahead.
The guest this week with us is Mr. Ram Madhav, the National General Secretary of the BJP. Article 370 is something that, how are you taking a long-term view on this?
We have different opinion, but for the sake of giving a government, we are saying we will maintain the present constitutional provision.
APSPA, you're using the word examining the denotified or the disturbed areas.
On APSPA, I would say we have left the issue to union government to take a final view.
After the Delhi performance, was there some kind of a pressure or some kind of a more heavy deliberation on now we should really seriously look and J&K sort out our problems, come together?
We have kept the negotiations completely insulated from all other extraneous factors.
Watch The Quest with BJP's National General Secretary Ram Madhav only on Rajya Sabha TV.
राज्यसभा टीवी की इस स्पेशल रिपोर्ट में हम आज आ पहुंचे हैं दिल्ली के कव्वालों की तलाश में।
दिल्ली के हैदर हसन निजामी एंड ब्रदर्स की इस पार्टी के बीच
कव्वाली क्या है? कव्वाली दरअसल है कौल। कौल जिसको कहते हैं वो जैसे कि बुजुर्गों का कहा हुआ।
सूफी कव्वाली औलिया इकराम बुजुर्गान दीन की रूहानी ग़िज़ा है।
देखिए हमारी खास पेशकश रंग महफिल नियाजी निजामी ब्रदर्स सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Labour Minister Bandaru Dattatreya has reiterated that the government intends to ensure fair wages for labourers. The government has also assured that it will bring a bill aimed at providing social security benefits like health services, insurance, pension for workers in the unorganised sector.
Raise minimum wages to 15,000 rupees a month from the present 10,000 rupees. That is the growing clamour from major central trade unions. The issue also found resonance in the Rajya Sabha.
That's why they are taking regressive step in the matter of fixing a minimum wage fit for human survival. At present, the rates are not at all fit.
Labour Minister Bandaru Dattatreya affirmed that providing fair wages to labour remains his priority. He mentioned that the issue of wage revision for the workers was being looked into at the interministerial meeting and a decision would be taken soon.
Will be the workers' interest. Workers' interest, and whatever the laws are there, whatever the rights are there, whatever the social security is needed, I will consider the first priority, number one. And at the same time, the employability is also very, very important.
Under the provisions of the Minimum Wages Act 1948, both the central and the state governments can fix and revise minimum wages of workers employed in scheduled employments under their respective jurisdictions. Since fixing of wages depends on factors like local conditions, cost of living, capacity to pay, skills available, occupations or employment, there are differences in the rates of minimum wages. Both centre and states can fix and revise minimum wages of workers under respective jurisdictions. The Labour Ministry, with participation of state governments, is also trying to cover labourers in the unorganised sector under various schemes. Efforts are on to provide them benefits such as health cover and scholarships for children's education.
The main thrust will be unorganised sector. Unorganised sector which constitutes 93% of the workforce approximately 43 crore people, like construction workers, Anganwadi workers, or even the cine workers, and also BD workers.
The survey conducted by the National Sample Survey Organization during 2011-12 says total employment in both organized and unorganized sectors in the country stood at 47 crore. Of this, about 8 crore were in the organized sector and the balance 39 crore in the unorganized sector. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you more news from across the country in Nationwide. On the second day of the second round of coal block auctions, Trimula Industries Limited bagged Merrill Mine for non-power sector in Jharkhand. This round of the auction will continue till the 8th of March. 15 ready-to-produce mines are up for auction in the second leg. The auctions are taking place following the Supreme Court's decision last year to cancel the allocation of 204 coal mines. 13 prosecution witnesses in the Uber rape case were cross-examined by a court today, a day after the Delhi High Court accepted the accused driver's plea to recall witnesses. The cross-examination would be carried out on a day-to-day basis and the counsel would not be given any adjournment on any ground. A Jaguar fighter aircraft of the Indian Air Force crashed in Haryana's Kurukshetra today. The fighter aircraft crashed in the fields and according to preliminary information, the pilot ejected from the plane before it fell into the fields. The pilot gave a distress call before ejection and was reported to have sustained some injuries. Pharma tycoon Dilip Sangvi surpassed Mukesh Ambani as the world's richest Indian with a net worth of $21.5 billion. Sangvi, who is the founder of drug maker Sun Pharma, ended Reliance Industries, Mukesh Ambani's 8-year run as India's richest billionaire. International news, and after wrapping up the Iran nuclear talks, US Secretary of State John Kerry is in Saudi Arabia today in a bid to ease Gulf Arab concerns on the nuclear deal. US and Iran had said that they have made some progress in the talks, but there are still significant gaps and important choices that needed to be made.
Talks over Iran's nuclear program have ended, but with little progress made so far. In a veiled dig at Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, US Secretary of State John Kerry said that simply demanding Iran's submission is no way to seal a deal. Meanwhile, the Iranian Foreign Minister said that negotiations were being held back by scaremongers.
There are still significant gaps and important choices that need to be made. The purpose of these negotiations is not to get any deal, it's to get the right deal.
We are not far from reaching an agreement. There are gaps that need to be filled, serious ones, but that doesn't mean that they are not, we are not capable of moving forward.
Benjamin Netanyahu shrugged off Kerry's criticism, reiterating that Iran nuclear deal is deeply flawed. The Israeli Prime Minister faced staunch criticism from the US after his controversial speech to the US Congress on nuclear deal on Wednesday.
The alternative to that bad deal is not war, but a much better deal. I proposed in Washington placing 2 new parameters on any deal with Iran. First, place tougher restrictions on Iran's nuclear programs. Second, I call for lifting those restrictions only when Iran ceases promoting terrorism, ends its aggression against its neighbors, and stops threatening to destroy the State of Israel.
US Secretary of State John Kerry is in Saudi Arabia today to ease concerns among Gulf countries over Iran nuclear deal. The nuclear talks are now expected to resume on March 15th. Neither side seems prepared to allow external pressures to influence the pace. However, many obstacles remain before a late March deadline for sealing a new accord between Iran and 6 world powers on the former's nuclear program. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you more news from across the world in Global Buzz. An international drug smuggling syndicate has been busted with a seizure of 480 kilograms of drugs from 6 men in Sydney. The haul included more than 250 grams of cocaine and 230 kilograms of liquid meth, valued at hundreds of millions. The arrested had hidden them in bottles of flavored water that were on their way to a Sydney warehouse. US Ambassador to South Korea Mark Lippert was attacked in Seoul. The US Embassy said he was being treated at a local hospital but is in a stable condition. Seoul police said Lippert was slashed on his right cheek and a hand with a small razor blade on Wednesday. The suspect was opposed to the joint South Korean-US military drills that launched earlier this week. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang today laid down China's economic goals at the People's Congress. Li set the country's GDP growth target at around 7% for 2015, the lowest in 11 years, focusing on equality over quantity as it overhauls its growth model. China is targeting slower economic growth as it tackles deep-seated economic problems and reduces its reliance on polluting fuels such as coal. And all the news from the ICC World Cup is coming up on the other side.
राज्यसभा टीवी की इस स्पेशल रिपोर्ट में हम आज आ पहुंचे हैं दिल्ली के कव्वालों की तलाश में।
दिल्ली के हैदर हसन निजामी एंड ब्रदर्स की इस पार्टी के बीच
कव्वाली क्या है? कव्वाली दरअसल है कौल। कौल जिसको कहते हैं वो जैसे कि बुजुर्गों का कहा हुआ।
सूफी कव्वाली औलिया इकराम बुजुर्गान दीन की रूहानी ग़िज़ा है ये।
देखिए हमारी खास पेशकश रंग महफिल नियाज़ी निजामी ब्रदर्स सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
आज न छोड़ेंगे बस हम चोली, खेलेंगे हम होली, खेलेंगे हम होली। चाहे भीगे चाहे भीगे तेरी चुनरिया।
देखिए होली पर हमारा खास कार्यक्रम रंग बरसे शुक्रवार शाम 4 बजे सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
होली के दिन देखो आई रे
राज्यसभा टीवी के इस विशेष प्रोग्राम गुफ्तगू में आपका स्वागत है।
आजकल के गाने में वो बात नहीं मिलती है जो कि पुराने गानों में थी, लेकिन मेरा ये विचार है कि बेसुरा को सुरमन में बनाना ये हमारा कर्तव्य है।
अरे ना साजन ना गोरी दिगंबर खेले मसाने में हो।
हम हैं आज लुधियाना में, यानी साहिर लुधियानवी का लुधियाना।
मैं पल दो पल का शायर हूँ।
कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है कि जिंदगी तेरी जुल्फों की नर्म छाँव में गुजरने पाती तो शादाब।
उनकी नजर, उनका शहर और उस शहर में हमारा सफर। देखिए सिर्फ राज्यसभा टेलीविजन पे।
Back, let's get you some cricket action now. Dhoni's men will look to keep their unbeaten record in the World Cup when they take on West Indies tomorrow. India has virtually sealed their berth to the knockout stage by winning the first 3 matches. West Indies, of course, will be looking for one more win to ensure qualification for the next round. This will be the first meeting between the two teams since West Indies pulled out of the Tour of India midway over a payment dispute with their board. Mohammad Shami, who was ruled out of the previous game with a knee issue, bowled in the nets, increasing his chances to get back in action tomorrow. However, West Indies is likely to go in with an unchanged side that played South Africa last week. However, Scotland's tournament hopes ended today after suffering a 6-wicket defeat from Bangladesh in Nelson today. The exit came despite Kyle Coetzer becoming the first Scotland player to score a World Cup century, taking the team to an impressive 318 for 8. But the wicket most certainly favoured the batsmen as Bangladesh, helmed by Tamim Iqbal's 95 and 3 half-centuries, reached 322 for 4 with 11 balls to spare to earn their second win in 4 games. It was the second highest successful run chase in a World Cup game after Ireland scored 329 against England at Bangalore in 2011. The win helped Bangladesh consolidate the 4th position in the 7-team standings. The Scots slumped to their 4th consecutive defeat from as many matches in the World Cup.
Coetzer has gone to 50, 53 from 54.
So with that, let's take a look at the points tally after today's match. New Zealand top Pool A with 4 wins from 4 games. Sri Lanka at the second place with 6 points. Bangladesh and Australia are next with 5 points each. England at 6th place with only 1 win from 4 games. In Pool B, India are at the top with 3 wins from 3 games, followed by South Africa with 6 points. West Indies, Ireland and Pakistan are next with 4 points each. UAE at the bottom with no win in this tournament. And finally, Holi is being celebrated across the country with a riot of colours. Today, of course, is Choti Holi, but the festivities are well underway. We'll leave you with these visuals. A very happy Holi to you.